What if the Stargate was real? How would the reality be different to the TV show? I'm going to do a short series considering this big what if question. Welcome to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel.
Scene 24.
Oh, great. One of my favorite scenes. Go ahead.
Interior bridge. The crew mans their stations.
I'm picking up a strange energy anomaly, Colonel. It appears the singularity is about to explode.
Weapons are at maximum.
I'm giving it all I got, Captain, but you're expecting a bloody miracle.
I'm going to start thinking about this what if the Stargate was actually real idea by thinking about the SGC first, Stargate Command. Now, as we know, the Stargate was buried deep within Cheyenne Mountain, and initially I think that made sense. The Stargate was potentially America's biggest secret, but it was also a massive threat. They wanted to hide it from their enemies, so Russia, China, and, satellites can't really see through rock. They also didn't really understand the risks and the threats the Stargate posed. So, again, burying it under a massive ton of rock, actually surrounded by nuclear weapons that could go off at any time if, a threat overran the base.
Carter was able to dial the gate. We're trying to get Claire to come through.
Open the iris.
Back with the gazer.
But by seasons 6, 7, 8, 9, did it still make sense for Stargate Command to be at Cheyenne Mountain? Now, obviously, we didn't have a DHD. We had to MacGyver a DHD. So if they did decide to move the gate, it would also mean moving all of that. But that technology could be replicated. Of course it could. Season 6 episode, Disclosure, where actually the Stargate was revealed to the UN security members, so Britain, France, China, Russia, all knew about the Stargate program. And following that, actually started having team members, actually an international Stargate project. There was a Russian 304, there was a Chinese 304, etc. Did it still make sense for the Stargate to be hidden under all that rock at Cheyenne Mountain?
Dismissed.
Now, I actually said it recently in a video. Why did we always just walk through the Stargate and go exploring? It meant basically that we could only actually really explore within walking distance of the gate. Wouldn't it make sense for you to be able to take a vehicle through? Well, I made this comment and somebody actually commented back saying that you couldn't do that at Cheyenne Mountain. How would you get the vehicle down there? You'd have to go down that big tunnel. But where would you store it? You'd have to vastly rebuild the entire Cheyenne Mountain complex and to be able to get a couple of vehicles in there. And I'm like, well, yeah, at some point, surely they would have done. Once Russia, China knew about it, then it would only make sense for them to move the gate. It doesn't have to be under that mountain anymore. Move the gate somewhere with a purpose-built facility. Because remember, Stargate Command wasn't purpose-built. It was NORAD. It was just a very logical place to put the gate. A purpose-built Stargate facility could allow vehicles, a garage next to it. Kind of like how the puddle jumpers did at Atlantis, where they come up down from above and they go through the gate. That you have something like that. You could have aircraft specifically designed to be able to go through the gate. But also you could move large amounts of materials through the gate. Now, obviously, we had the BC-304s, we had transport vessels, etc. We could move stuff that way. But moving it through the gate is much quicker. You can, move a crane, take it apart, move it through the gate, build it to the side, start construction of anything you want. When we have an alpha site, a beta site, using the gate means you can get materials to the site off-world really, really quickly. The only problem with that is you can't get it to the gate in the first place because SGC has very narrow corridors and things. You'd have to bring it down through the tunnel. It would only be able to be big enough to hold in the waiting area by the gate, and then you'd have to sort of position it and get it through. It all negates the point of having the Stargate in the first place. A purpose-built facility is the only thing that becomes logical after season 7. Now, maybe they were building one, but maybe it took 4 or 5 years and only opened after SG-1 ended. We'll only know when the show returns. But it is only logical that they would do that. And here's a couple of the reasons as well. On more than one occasion, we ended up having to try to take refugees in through the gate. Worlds were attacked by the Goa'uld, by Anubis, by the replicators, blah, 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 and we took in refugees. Stargate SGC is very, very limited on how many refugees it can take in any sort of speed. So, again, I'm arguing that a facility with more space would only make sense to move stuff through the gate, but also to bring stuff back. Also, if you're thinking about resources that you want to bring back from off-world, unless you can carry it, you ain't bringing it back. So again, another reason why it would have to have a new base, and that base would have to have been constructed rapidly, is because it limits how much of the gate you can actually use. Politically, Russia, China, France, Britain would be looking at the Stargate Command and thinking, why is it under that mountain? We want it in a neutral site. They would be under pressure almost immediately to move it to a neutral site. And America has places it could take it. Diego Garcia is actually an island that's owned by Britain. It's in the middle of the Indian Ocean, 1,000 miles from anything. But actually, we loan it out in partnership to America. That would be a very interesting place to put the Stargate. Nobody can go there. It's an island that's about 30 square kilometers. So there is space. There is construction and stuff going on there already. It would be a very isolated, very safe place to put the gate, but also with enough space to actually be able to move stuff around and get stuff in and out of the gate. But also, very simply, the Stargate is a risk. We were invaded through it several times. We had a black hole nearly suck Cheyenne Mountain back through it. Wouldn't it just make sense to keep the Stargate away from any populated area by as much as possible? Somewhere like Diego Garcia or any other islands that America owns around the world, or that anybody owns around the world, because you could pick a neutral site, would just make more sense from a risk point of view as well. Any disease that came through the gate accidentally could be quarantined. Any replicators that came through the gate could be, quarantined. Any new threat would just find themselves on an island in the middle of an ocean. It just makes logical sense. So to recap, after the Disclosure episode, season 6, it made no sense to me for the SGC to stay at Cheyenne Mountain. I think within a year, maybe 2, the Stargate would have been moved under pressure from the international community, and just because it makes more sense. A purpose-built facility with vehicles that can move in and out of the gate, that we can move stuff through the gate quickly. If the Stargate was real, they would never keep it at Cheyenne Mountain. But guys, get into the comments, tell me what you think. If the Stargate was real, would you move the gate? Would you put it somewhere else almost immediately? Or would you keep it where it was because they don't want to build brand new sets? Possibly the reason. I'd love to know what you think. But also, more importantly, if the Stargate was real, what else would have been different from the show? Where do I need to go next with this series of videos? Get into the comments and tell me exactly what you're thinking. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can go to patreon.com/SciTrek, where most of our new videos appear first and you get to see them without the adverts. As always, please stay safe and I'll see you next time.